Hey, it's Dave, and today we're going to review the GoPro Hero5 Session. I picked it up last fall when I wanted to record my point of view from shooting an actual wedding, and it's been great for that, but it's been much more than great for that as well. And so as we're going to find out, spoiler alert, I do love this little thing with some reservations. We can't really talk about the Hero5 Session without comparing it to its big brother, the Hero5 Black, which is GoPro's flagship. Similarities include the 4K video at 30 frames a second. They're both now entirely waterproof up to 33 feet or 10 meters. Another new feature the Hero5 family shares is a new linear mode. And what that does is removes that fisheye distortion that you get on the outer edges. And that's both available on the video mode as well as the camera mode. Another awesome feature they've included is electronic image stabilization. I should note that both in the digital stabilization mode as well as in the linear mode that corrects for distortion, you are going to be removing the outside edges, about 10%, it crops in. The Hero5 family also has voice control, which is pretty neat. Not really useful for me because I'm not really a hardcore sports dude, but if your hands are busy and you weren't worried about shouting weird GoPro commands like GoPro, take a picture, and GoPro, start a video, then you would be okay to do this hands-free. Now let's take a look at the differences. The first obvious difference is the Hero5 Session lacks an LCD. You've also got a higher resolution camera. The Black gives you 12 megapixels versus the Session's 10. As far as video is concerned, you also get a higher frame rate at 1080p. You can go all the way up to 120 frames per second for super slow motion video versus the Session's 90 frames per second at 180p. The Hero5 Black also includes a GPS, which the Session lacks. Back to the cameras, the Black version of the Hero5 is also capable of shooting in RAW mode, which for photographers might be really cool. Another difference is that the Black includes 3 microphones, whereas the Session only has 2 mics, front and back. So if the Black's the flagship, why did I choose the Session? Well, I really wanted the smaller form factor because of the fact that I was going to want to mount this while I'm working. I didn't want to worry about, oh no, I've got this huge thing, people are going to notice it. It's almost so tiny that people don't really care that you've got it on your shoulder. You can also optionally take off the audio beeps and also turn off the LED light, the red recording light, so people don't even know that you're recording. Besides being more stealth, another reason why I love it is because it's not threatening at all. There's no LCD where people can ask you, oh, could I see that when, replay? You can't, because it just makes it so simple to use. You just press record, you walk away, and you just keep on going and living life. So let's talk about real world use. What are the pros and cons of the Session? One of the biggest pros is just its tiny size. It's amazing to be able to pack in so much in such an indestructible tiny 1-inch cube. Out of the box, it comes with this little mounting cage, and what's really nice is that because it's a square, you can mount it to the side of a helmet if you needed to, or upside down if you needed to, and it just pops in and out very quickly. So you can always handhold it without a case, or pop it in whenever you need to, clamp it in, and you're ready to go pro. There's also a whole bunch of third-party accessories that you can get because it really only comes with 2 mounts, one for a curved helmet and one for a flat surface. A couple of mounts that I recommend for any photographer would be, first off, the 1/4" 20 tripod mount. And this lets me mount it directly onto my camera via a hot shoe adapter. And I also bought this strap adapter, which clamps down onto any strap. It could be a backpack strap, and I used my hold fast straps, which allows me to carry it without having to worry about it at all. I just purchased right on my shoulder. Another great pro on the Session is that it's quite intuitive to use. It's only got 2 buttons, and the big record button is the first one that you'll find. You press it once, and it starts recording. No questions asked. And you press it again, and it stops recording. It's easy as that. The secondary button can be found on the back, and that's going to allow you to go through all the different menu systems. And if you're interested, hit me up in the comments, and I can go through the recommended settings and what I use to capture my life on the go. I also love the fact that this little thing is so robust. Being waterproof without needing a case means you can use this outside in the snow at -30, or you could jump into the Radium hot springs when it is still -30 outside, and then you can dunk it without worry. It seems really well thought out and meant to be used. The front window is user replaceable if you get it scratched or damaged, and after dunking in water, the microphones quickly drain, and for built-in mics, they sound amazingly great. Build quality seems great, with the exception of the door that hides both the charging plug as well as the microSD card. Everything on the perimeters is this really nice grippy rubber. The door opens with a little latch, and it can be removed if you just pull it straight up in the upright position. And I do recommend, if you're gonna wanna charge it via the USB-C or power it via the USB-C cable, that to remove the door, because it does pop off quite easily, and I could totally see myself losing this little door, and it probably cost a fortune to replace. So there's a lot going for it, but it's not perfect, obviously. And one of the biggest things people will probably say, oh, there's no LCD. But that's been a limitation that's been very liberating. It's actually been amazing to just press the red record button and start recording. And because its standard angle of view is so wide, just pointing in the right direction is likely gonna get you what you want. Okay, so the Session doesn't have an LCD built in, but you do have the ability to download GoPro's free Capture app and sync it and control it via your smartphone. In real world use, I don't want to use my phone because it drains my phone's battery as well as the GoPro's battery to have that connection always sunk. But if you do need to check your framing, it's nice to know that that option exists. Now, outdoors in good light, it's gonna actually do a really good job with video. Although I did find if there's gonna be a certain part that's in harsh sun and the rest of it is in shadow, that it's gonna be really quite hard for it to do both well. For example, this was shot at the World Series parade in Chicago, and you'll notice that the highlights are badly blown, where the sensor was kind of tricked because most of the image is taken in the shadow of that street. Another thing that I didn't love about it is obviously its battery life. There is no battery that you can just shove in here, and the only way to charge it is via the USB-C cable. I usually get about an hour and a half to even 2 hours of recording time on this baby. But of course, if you're in extreme conditions like -30 outside, then you're gonna have a lot less battery life. If you're looking for long run times, then the Hero 5 Black definitely has it beat because you can buy additional batteries to keep the action going. Another con is that, of course, it doesn't have a zoom lens, but that's not really a con. You just have to understand its limitations. This is gonna be a great action cam when you're in the action. But if you're wanting to record your kid playing volleyball or hockey, then unless you put this on his helmet, you're probably better off getting a Handycam or a camcorder that has a good reach on their zoom. Another con that I found is that it's quite disappointing in low light, especially the pictures. So if you're wanting to up your selfie game in low light, sadly, this won't beat your smartphone. I also found that when you're shooting indoors, even in burst mode, the shutter speeds that it chooses in the camera mode is going to be very slow. And that means you're going to get a lot of motion blur. So having it burst, taking like 30 images over 2 seconds doesn't help when every image is a little bit blurry or people are moving in the frame. Outdoors in good light, the images are much better. But really, smartphones can probably outdo this if you're just looking at stills. So what's on my wish list? I wish I could shoot RAW on the Session, and I'm hoping maybe in a firmware they could, but they probably won't because they'll save that setting for the Black. I also wish that there was less grain in the videos, even in low light as well. So what's the verdict? I love this little thing. It's amazing, and because it's just so tiny and indestructible, you want to carry it. GoPro said one of its goals was to allow us to capture the moment while still being in the moment. And I'm really impressed with what they've managed to do in this tiny, tiny GoPro Hero 5 Session. So though it's not perfect, especially for stills, 2 thumbs up for the GoPro Hero 5 Session. How do you GoPro? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments too. As always, links and updates to this review are in the description. Thanks for watching, happy shooting, God bless. GoPro, start recording. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, take a burst picture. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, take a burst.